Hello everyone. Welcome back to the new session of Biology, Standard 11th, Chapter 5, Cell Structure and Organization. In last video lecture, we studied about modern cell theory, totipotency, kinds of cells. In that we studied difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Then we studied the details of prokaryotic cell. Now today we'll study the details of eukaryotic cells. Let's start the topic. Now if you want to define a eukaryotic cell, how will you define it? You can say cells in which the nucleus has a definite nuclear membrane are known as eukaryotic cell. And these cells contain membrane-bound cell organelles. We already had a detailed talk about membrane-bound cell organelles in our last lecture. These cells have a different shape, size, and physiology, but all cells are mainly composed of plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and cell organelles. Example of cell organelles are mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, Golgi complex, etc. And best example of eukaryotic cells are protists, plant, animal, and fungi. Now coming towards the next part, that is components of eukaryotic cell. There are 13 components of eukaryotic cell. We have to study all these 13 components in detail. First, I'll tell you the names of all the components, then we'll go in detail of each and every component later. First component is cell wall. The next is cell membrane, or you can also call it as plasma membrane or biomembrane. Then cytoplasm, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosomes, vacuoles, glyoxysomes, mitochondria, plastids, ribosomes, nucleus, and the last one is cytoskeleton. So these are all 13 components of eukaryotic cell. Let's start with the first one, that is cell wall. Talking about cell wall, it is rigid, supportive, and protective outer covering of plasma membrane of plant cells, fungi, and some protists. If I say rigid, that means tough. So it is tough, supportive, and protective outer covering. Then if we talk about algae. In algae, the cell wall shows presence of cellulose, galactans, mannans, and minerals like calcium carbonate in cell wall. In other plants, the cell wall is made up of hemicelluloses, pectin, lipids, and proteins. Microfibrils of plant cell wall show presence of cellulose, which is responsible for rigidity. Rigidity, toughness. That tough nature is because of presence of cellulose. Some of the depositions of cell wall are silica, which you can see in grass stem, cutin, which you can see in epidermal wall of land plants, suberin can be seen in endodermal cells of root, wax can be seen in epidermal walls of plants. It is found in both land plants and hydrophytes. Then lignin present in between cells. Now coming towards functions of cell wall. Cell wall shows two functions. We know it is rigid and it is protective. So as it is rigid, the first function is that it gives shape to the cell. And second one is it protects cell from mechanical injury and infections. In plants, you will find cell wall shows three layers. Those three layers are middle lamella, primary wall, and secondary wall. Talking about middle lamella, the name is middle lamella. So you will find it is thin and it lies between two adjacent cells, that means in between two cells. It is the first structure formed from cell plate during cytokinesis. And you might have studied the topic that is cell division. In that, you have studied the detailed structure or detail about cytokinesis. So due to this division of cell, whatever the first structure is formed from cell plate, that is middle lamella. And it is mainly made up of pectin, calcium and magnesium pectate. You know what? Whenever you will see an unripe fruit and a ripe fruit, you will find there is a difference between both fruits. The unripened fruit is tough, whereas the ripe one is soft. This softening of a ripe fruit is due to solubilization of pectin. That means what? The pectin is the rigid one, the part which helps in making the fruit stiff, thick. Whereas when it dissolves or when it solubilizes, at that time you will find the fruit becomes soft. Second layer is primary wall. You will find young plant cells are capable of growth, and primary wall in young plant cells helps in growth. It is laid inside two middle lamella. That means the layer present next to middle lamella is primary wall, and it is the only wall which is seen in meristematic tissue, mesophyll cells and pith, etc. You'll find these walls are seen in these structures as meristematic tissue has ability to divide and redivide and helps in growth. So you will find primary wall is present in meristematic tissue. Same way it is present in mesophyll as well as pith. Now coming towards the third layer, that is secondary wall. It is present inner to primary wall. That means the first layer is your middle lamella present in between two cells. Next to middle lamella, whatever layer is, that is your primary wall. Next to primary wall, whatever the layer is formed, that is your secondary wall. Now when this secondary wall is formed, once the growth of primary wall stops, okay, at that time only you will find the secondary wall is laid. Then at some places during the formation of secondary wall, you will find thickening is absent, and this leads to formation of pits. So here in secondary wall, pits can be seen. Apart from all these three layers, that is middle lamella, primary wall and secondary wall, cell wall also shows presence of plasmodesmata. Now what is plasmodesmata? Plasmodesmata are cytoplasmic bridges between neighboring cells. That means what? They are the bridge between two cells, adjacent cells, which are connected together with the help of cytoplasm. So it is cytoplasmic bridge between neighboring cell. It shows pores between cell wall and middle lamella. So we have completed cell wall, the first component. We studied the details, we studied function, we know the layers, and we also know that apart from all these three layers, one more part is present, that is plasmodesmata. Now coming towards the next component or second component, that is cell membrane, or you can also call it as plasma membrane or biomembrane. This cell membrane is thin, and you will find it is a quasified structure. If I say the word quasified, that means it is partly liquid and partly solid. Okay, or you can say a semi-solid type of structure having some liquid part and some solid part in it. And it is present both extracellularly and intracellularly. If I say the word extracellularly, that means outside the cell. And if I say the word intracellularly, that means inside the cell. Let's see the first part, that is extracellular presence of cell membrane. Extracellularly, you will find the cell membrane is present around protoplast. Now what is protoplast? Protoplast is entire cell except cell wall. Okay, that is the extracellular region. Now talking about intracellular region, intracellularly if we say the cell membrane, then it is present around most of the cell organelles in eukaryotic cell, and we have a detailed talk about cell organelles. So whatever cell organelles are present in eukaryotic cell, they are all surrounded by cell membrane or plasma membrane. And this cell membrane, it separates cell organelles from cytosol. Now what is cytosol? Cytosol is the aqueous component of cytoplasm. See, I told it is quasified, having liquid and solid, both components. So the liquid or aqueous component of cytoplasm is considered as cytosol. Thickness of cell membrane is about 75 degree angstrom. Under electron microscope, you will find cell membrane appears trilaminar. That means having three layers, or you can say cell membrane shows three different layers under electron microscope. It shows presence of lipids, and whatever lipids are there, they are mostly phospholipids. And these lipids are arranged in bilayer, that means two layers. Here you will find the lipids possess one hydrophilic polar head. If I say the word hydrophilic, that means water loving, or you can say the one which allows water to enter inside. See, hydro means water, philic means loving. So hydrophilic, water loving, allows the water, that is polar head, and the head is only one, and it contains two hydrophobic non-polar tails. If I say the word hydrophobic, that is water hating. See, hydro means water. Phobic means heating. So water heating, that means which will not allow the water to enter. And it is non-polar. So it has one hydrophilic polar head and two hydrophobic non-polar tails. So here, as it possesses both hydrophilic end and hydrophobic end, you can say that phospholipids are amphipathic. Just for example, we know about amphibians. Amphibians are those animals which can live in water also and which can live on land also. Same way, the lipids have both ends, hydrophilic and hydrophobic. So they are amphipathic. And lipid molecules are arranged in two layers, I told, bilayers, right? And they are arranged in such a way that their tails are sandwiched in between heads. That means what? You will find the polar heads will be facing the outer region, whereas the non-polar tails will be inwards towards the inner side. So here, you know, the heads are hydrophilic, so they come in direct contact with water, and tails are hydrophobic, and these tails are present in the inner layer. So due to this, what happens, the tails never come in direct contact with aqueous surrounding. Aqueous means watery surrounding. So heads, they are polar, they are hydrophilic, so they are facing the aqueous surrounding, whereas the tails, they are inside, they are hydrophobic, they are non-polar, so they never come in direct contact with aqueous surrounding. Now here you will find cell membrane also shows presence of proteins and carbohydrates. Okay, apart from lipids, they also contain proteins and carbohydrates. Now ratio of proteins and lipids varies in different cells. For example, in human beings, RBCs shows approximately 52% of protein and 40% of lipids. So we have completed this detail of second component, that is cell membrane, or you can say plasma membrane or biomembrane. We have completed two components. Let's stop here. We'll continue in the next video lecture. So let's see the quick summary what we studied today. We started with eukaryotic cell, introductory part. Then we started with components of eukaryotic cells. In that, we studied the details of two components. They are cell wall and cell membrane, plasma membrane, or you can say biomembrane. I hope you understood the topic. We'll continue again in the next video lecture. Till then, take good care of yourselves. Thank you.